Today, we're off to a grand Victorian stately home about an hour's drive away, this magnificent country mansion. With 5 chimneys to sweep, its preserved, untouched architecture has made it a sought-after location for Cathine Cookson films. One of the chimneys has a particularly tricky blockage, likely caused by jackdaws. The previous owners never used this library, but the new owners really need this fire working, as it's now their office. The chimney has an unusual horizontal section in the flue just below the old servants' quarters. I'll explain further as we get into it. But first, we'll kick off our day with a cup of tea and breakfast at a great little cafe set in a former workhouse in Bellingham. Now, with breakfast out the way, it's time to get to the job. We normally arrive at the first job for around 9 o'clock. We never work on times, as it's impossible to stick to them given the distances we cover, and each job is different. The best we do is an AM or PM call, but we try to call when we are on our way. As I mentioned earlier, many of the Cathine Cookson films featured this house and its stunning grounds. When we create our video logs, we never show inside the customers' homes due to their right to privacy, so we only focus on the work at hand and keep surrounding areas to a bare minimum. We enter through the side of the house, as most of the chimneys are all together, apart from the upper playroom. But we will do that last. For now, we will focus on this block chimney, as it's extremely difficult. I always start by taking latex gloves. This is to lay clean sheets normally on rugs or carpets or anything we could scuff past carrying equipment in or out. I won't bore you with this, but we make sure to have the largest work area as possible. So, the white sheets are laid to protect the carpets. Once laid, we use bright orange mats. It just adds an extra layer of protection and gives us a nice bright work area. It's time to head upstairs to the old servant quarters. The reason we need to go here is because there are specially placed access points designed to assist with chimney cleaning. That's this here. They were also used by children who used to clean them as they climbed inside them. It's smaller in size now since the chimney was lined, but other chimneys in the house still have the original hatches and unlined chimneys. The old servant bell, an awesome relic from the Victorian era. I found the hatch, and I have already removed it. Now I just need to take out the insulated cover and see if we get lucky with a nest. Sure enough, it's loaded with jackdaw twigs. But the problem is, they have been pushed down into the horizontal flue. It's a terrible design, and will no doubt cause problems later with draw. I have my rods with a large brush, blocking anything falling from above. I will now remove these twigs to gain access to the below flue. Someone is downstairs with the fireplace sealed with sponges. It's sealed again with a vinyl cover. We then use a twin motor vacuum which controls the air pressure inside the chimney. We will break apart the twigs using a metal whip. This doesn't seem to be working, so I will take a photo and see why. I often use my phone for this. It's quick and easy and gets the job done. It's very dark here. There are no bulbs on this floor and the torchlight isn't brilliant. It seems the liner has a hard bend and possibly even a horizontal run, making it very difficult to clear. We now tackle this from below to break through the nest as it's better access to the flue. Finally, progress. After some time of picking away at the nest, we managed to break through. Below, we use CCTV to help us target the weakest point. As the chimney is lined, we can't use full power, so the drill is operated at a low speed, just enough to break apart twigs. Once the nest is clear, we will use a hard brush to remove any single twigs left over. After this is done, I then sweep from this point down to the chamber using my power heads to clean out that liner. But first, sponge is placed inside to prevent a possible nest higher up, falling into the tight flue space. The nest was removed and verified with a smoke test, but something just doesn't feel right. When I performed a smoke test, despite it flying out the top of the chimney, smoke was lingering by the hatch. with very little draw. Before I sweep the last stage, I inspected with CCTV, and there is just no way through. The chimney has potentially collapsed. This would explain the old jackdaw nest, possibly from the disused adjoining chimney. It's up to the builders now to investigate further. The remaining chimneys we swept with no problems. So, on to the next one. It's a small rural village. The customer has just moved in, and none of the stoves are working. It hasn't been used in some time, so I will start to wiggle the plate so it doesn't all come pouring down. I will also remove as much of the old soot and ash as possible. I will start by using a camera, as I noticed a plant growing out of the top chimney pot. The camera reveals a liner in decent condition, allowing me to spin at high speed when I get near the nest. The head we use is an 8-inch medium vinyl. It's ideal for cleaning liners and tackling most nests. Using anything more than this could compromise the liner. I'm just below the pot, where the blockage is. There is a plant growing out the top of the old nest, so I plan to just tear into it at high speed. The chimney below is sealed, and a vacuum is controlling airflow. It's now time to pull down the nest and clean the liner. And just like that, it was removed. But that's just the start. And now we need to make sure the entire liner is clear. The signal will be given over the radio that we have visual outside, so we can begin to clean the liner. A smoke test provides visual confirmation. The liner is clear with good draw. Now for the other chimney. It's already sheeted up. I noticed a lot of creosote when I sent up my first rod, so the magnets will get a good seal. I also check this with a camera to make sure it's lined, as there is a hatch outside which is now disused. But I wanted to be sure. Once again, a smoke test confirms the draw is good and the liner is clear. Now it's time to empty the particle collector. It's a mixture of creosote and soot, as the nest went in the bin. I do this on every property, so the customer knows what came down, and also I just can't carry it. I apply a black bag to the bin, put back on the securing clamp, and puncture a small hole for airflow. I always wear a mask for this, as the daily intake will eventually be fatal, as you do get some blowback. I will also change the vacuum bag. I do this after long periods, and the vacuum was on most of the morning at the other job, so it's probably ready anyhow. It doesn't catch much, but it's all about controlling airflow. Now for the paperwork, where I explain what we did and the price. I also attach a few leaflets about our company. I also provide a certificate to prove they had the chimney swept. We did a few more in the village and the local pub. They were just straightforward, with little to no problems. It's a great little place. It's the last pub in England before you head into Scotland. That's 10 chimneys finished, and now it's home time. We cover most of rural Northumberland and can tackle just about anything. I will now charge the batteries, change the dust sheets, and prepare the paperwork, as tomorrow we'll start all over again.